observation. They pop out when I'm having fun too.
Okay, good. So then you're having fun. Good day, good day. Welcome. My name is Denise Washington, and welcome to my first podcast, Sharing the Wisdom. Came up with this idea, wasn't even that I came up with it. I was influenced by a video that I saw, and it was by Stephanie Perry. She is part of Exodus Summit, and I have the video in my comments. One weekend, she had women over 60 just giving advice and words of wisdom to younger women. I was amazed by that. And then I thought, well, what the heck? I know a whole bunch of women who I get advice from, counsel from, just laugh with, who could also share their words of wisdom. And I figured, what better to have a host that is also in her 60s, because as wise as Stephanie is, she's in her late 40s. So this is where this idea came from. Also, our culture, we do not have a rites of passage so that younger women can be counseled, educated, and taught by older women. So you have a void. The older women have the experiences that they need to pass back. Younger women need the counsel to pass up to their older counterparts. So here we are. And I have three fabulous women today: Debbie, Doreen, and Anna. These are women that I have laughed with, cried with. They have given me counsel. We have done everything. Welcome, ladies. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having us.
For having me.
It is my honor. I will probably do the least amount of talking today, which is rare because I'm always yapping. But let's just start. What is it that you would want to either tell a younger woman, or that you wished as a person now in their 60s and strong and wise and centered, that you wish someone had told you? Who would like to start? Debbie?
Sure. Well, this may seem rather vague, but I think young women need to understand that they must value themselves, because if they don't value themselves, no one else will. And by valuing yourself, I mean, don't settle, select, because you will attract attention, and some of it may be very negative, but don't settle for the negative. Just stay put until the right person or people come along who are going to treat you well and value you as well before you take that leap. A lot of young women feel it necessary. I'm not going to be judgmental, because that's not what this is about. I wish I'd had someone to talk to me about this, but a lot of young women are doing all this cosmetic surgery, getting big butts and having all this stuff done to them to make themselves more appealing to, I imagine, men. But that isn't necessary. It isn't necessary, and it's not good for your self-esteem to think that you have to change your physical self in order to make somebody else like or love you. So by valuing yourself, I mean, you are not a piece of meat. You cannot be bought or sold. Nobody can criticize, whether you're well done or medium well or whatever. You're you, value yourself, and be your authentic self. That's it. That's the bottom line.
Debbie, there's so many points there that I could talk about. Does anybody want to comment? Because I really want to, but can anybody comment or want to comment? Because I saw everybody shaking their head yes when Debbie spoke. Anna?
Yeah, I can say something about that. I absolutely agree with what Debbie's saying. And I would even add to that, people who do that cosmetic surgery, they don't have self-love. And that's what we need to work on. It's our self-love. Nobody's going to love us more than we love ourselves. And we cannot look for the love that we should have within outside of ourselves. That's never going to work. That's going to create a codependent relationship.
Yeah.
And we're going to depend on the approval of somebody else to be happy. And oh my God, that is the recipe for disaster and guilty Guilty of that. I've
Me
done it.
too. We all are.
Yes,
I've done
in
it.
my younger age. And that is something that if I could go back, I would say, oh, see ya.
But who was there to tell you that? Because back in the day, I mean, I
No.
think oldest here, and I'm 70. Back in the day, no one talked to me about these things.
Well, let's look at this. Our parents, we're all wounded souls. Our parents raised us with their wounds. So if our parents had the lack of self-love, they could not teach us self-love at all.
That's true.
So and we're not blaming anybody for anything.
Right.
We're
No,
just
no,
bringing
no.
in, yeah, we're just bringing in the wisdom that comes from the lessons learned,
Right.
right?
Right.
Another thing that I would like to add to this, because I have someone that I've been hanging out with a little bit, a young mother. And she told me that phrase that you said keeps coming back into my mind. And this is what I usually say: problems do not go away when ignored, they get bigger.
Yes.
Mhm.
And that could be referred to a relationship. That could, we could refer to, for example, a fall, and we hurt ourselves and we never went to the doctor to check out if there was a shift in with our bones, with our posture, with whatever. And as you grow older, it's going to get worse, not better.
It's true.
So, but that applies to everything in life. So when there's an issue, we address it right away. I remember in the beginning when I was dating my ex-husband, of thinking, oh, it'll get better. Oh, it'll get better. You know, even before marriage, there were really big issues, but oh, it'll get better. My parents don't get along either, so it's going to get better.
Right.
It's the normal. We feel like what surrounds us is the normal, and it is what it's supposed to be.
Right.
And we need to step outside that and look at happiness is available to all of us, and we all deserve to be happy.
Yep. I mean, who do you ask for help though? I think young people have that problem today in particular.
Okay, well, good question. I would say if I want advice on happiness, I am going to ask a happy person, not an unhappy person.
Right.
Now I'm
If
going to bring Doreen. I'm sorry, I don't mean to cut
yes,
across
No,
you. I'm going
Doreen.
to bring Doreen into
yeah,
that because her and I have spoken about this a lot, and I know that she has a lot to say, particularly when you said don't settle and select. I saw your eyes almost come out of your head, Doreen. When you when Debbie said that, like, am I wrong? It seems like that point made that it resonated with you, or maybe I'm wrong. Or what would you
Um,
like to contribute? See, I'm sitting here trying to play like mind reader very, very poorly. Go ahead.
you're
what
very
I
good
would
at it.
say, what I would say to a young person, and not just to a young person, but to anybody. What are you doing to preserve your mental health, physical health, and spiritual health?
Right.
Mm,
What are you doing to preserve your mental health, physical health, and spiritual health? And if you give me a blank stare, then we know what the problem is.
mhm.
Right.
Because it all comes from me, it all comes down to, like everyone said, taking care of yourself.
Yes.
And taking care of yourself, on all three planes is all important. Your mental health, your physical health, and your spiritual health. And we have to work on all three levels, not just one level. We can't just say, okay, I'm going to just work on my physical health and forget my mental health and my spiritual health. Mm-mm. So, and that's something for me, very important lesson I had to reteach myself, especially during COVID. What was I doing? It comes down to, small little choices, small little tasks that you do every day. And I had to reteach myself, especially during COVID, to preserve my mental health, physical health, and spiritual health.
Right.
And it was definitely a learning lesson. It was quite a learning lesson. And 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 it wasn't just the deficiency for myself didn't just come during COVID. No, the deficiency was there before COVID. But when COVID came, it was like, oh, it was very clear. It was
Yeah.
it was it was very clear. I was deficient in what I was doing to preserve myself, my mental health, physical health, and spiritual health. So I became very clear, and you have no other choice. You have no other choice but to um to preserve this part of yourself, these areas of yourself, um in order to just win and move forward in life, see, and take care
Yeah.
of yourself. So now I got a whole program.
That's
I was
good.
just I was just going to ask, could you
Yes,
give us an
now I got a whole
example
program because when I
of
found out
one
how
thing?
deficient I
Because
was,
I know you have restructured your life. Is there
yeah, when
one
I found
thing?
out how deficient I was like, ooh, I mean, and I think a lot of people, and I'm going to say a lot of people was able to see
Mhm.
if they were deficient during COVID.
Now, now you saw your deficiency,
Yes.
and a lot of people though don't see it, or they see it and they can't get themselves out of the rut,
Right.
younger and older. What one thing, if you had to pick one thing out of the three, one way that you now cope differently or that you've changed, would you like to speak on that?
I mean,
Or if you want to talk about more than one, that's fine too.
for
Um,
me, it's physical activity and movement. The other two are important, yeah, but the only way I can really get out of a funk is if I get out and move my body. And then I can start addressing, it spills over into mental health. I can start addressing that. In my spiritual realm, well, I haven't really ever given that too much attention. So I need to work on that. But if I don't move, I get in a funk. And the only way I can get out of the funk is if I get out in the street and run or ride my bike or go to the gym or something like that. And if I keep doing that, my outlook on life changes and I feel better about myself, about my body, about my head. And so that's how what works for me. Everybody's an individual. So, something else may work differently for some, better for someone else, but that's what I do.
Doreen, because you started smiling too. Both you and Anna were sitting there smiling when she said physical. We all did, because I think that we're all using things. But Doreen, what kind of things do you do?
um, really having to work on my mental health.
Mm.
Okay.
I had to do a lot of work on my mental health during COVID and now, because I started a new job at 60, and
Wow.
it no, I started a new job at 60, and as soon as I started this job, I was only there a few months, and everything shut down due to COVID. Everything shut down. I was only in this new job for 5 months, and everything shut down, and we all went home, and so here I am, 60 years old in a new job and didn't know anything. And my mental health was I was scared. I mean, I was scared with COVID. I was scared because I was in a new job. I was scared because I didn't know anything. And the truth of the matter is, at that time it was such a crisis. My coworkers and team, they weren't available. I mean, everyone was trying to take care of their family and friends. So I'm like, I was like a deer in headlight with this new job. I'm like, what am I supposed to do? You see. So my mental health, worry, stress, being in a new job, what am I supposed to do? The other folks that had been in the position, they were able to go home. They knew what to do. I didn't know what to do. I was only in the position for 5 months. And then I'm 60 years old. And I'm like, oh my gosh.
That must have been rough.
I mean, what if they say that, they changed their mind? They don't want me.
Oh.
So my mental health was something I really had to work on, and still I would tell anybody, it's not a one and done. It's a lifetime journey. Right, Anna? It's a lifetime journey.
It is a lifetime journey. You're right.
It is. It is.
Anna, would you like to add? Or Doreen, do you have something else to say or no?
I have one other thing to say because
go ahead.
Anna used one of my favorite words, Anna.
Which one?
You used the word fun.
Fun?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We all need to have fun.
Yes.
Yes. You use one of my favorite words, which is fun. The only thing I want to say, and I'll finish, a life filled with fun doesn't stop at any age. Right?
You're here. Right.
Do you know what I'm looking for right now?
What?
I'm looking to buy a kayak.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool.
Fun. Having
That is
fun. We
fun.
cannot forget fun. Fun brings joy, and joy raises our vibration. And when our vibration is high, we attract all the blessings that are there awaiting for us to allow them to come into our field.
Wonderful.
And for me, if we're talking about COVID was a little different for me. COVID, I felt this quietness in the air, and that quietness that I loved so much because I was alone. I was able to be alone with myself. I was able to be alone or to have quiet time, not to be busy, busy, busy. I went for bike rides. I walked. I didn't swim. I was afraid to go to the pool at the time. I confess, fear did creep in. But I enjoyed that quietness. But I didn't have a full-time job that required me. I wasn't in that position of stress. For me, it actually, in a way, it de-stressed because of that quietness that was so needed. And I feel like, in a way, the people that took advantage of that, they were able to, they reaped benefits from COVID. They had time to think of where they wanted to go. They had time to observe their values. What did they value the most? And of course, it wasn't the same for everybody. People with small children, they had a hard time. The kids, there was no school, there was homeschooling, there was a lot of stress and working and all of that. But in terms of stress, what worked best for me to let go of the stress was to know that there's nothing to fear but fear itself. We create fear in our minds with our thoughts. And most of the things that we fear do not happen. Right? They don't happen.
That's true.
And if we keep thinking about them intensely, we're going to attract them too.
Yeah. Well, what about young people, though? I'm sorry, Anna, go ahead.
Yes. Well, for young people, yes.
It's so much harder for them than it was for us. I do.
Yes, it was. But some of them that I know made changes to their lives.
Mhm.
Their values changed. They were locked up in apartments. Like, for example, I know somebody in Jersey City locked up in the apartment for a long time. This person moved out to the country and has now a totally different life. And this is a single young person.
Mhm.
The values, you know, there was an increase in in valuing nature, for example.
Definitely.
What advice could we give to young people? Well, about fear, I would say it's a waste of time.
Yeah.
We're still here at 60, and most of the things, for me, most of the things that I feared did not happen. And the ones that happened, they brought me into a better place. That trust in the divine order is so important. And what a waste of time. What a waste of life to give into fear.
Yeah.
If we have a fear, for example, young person of a job, oh, it's so stressful. Oh my God, this job. Oh, I hate this job. Oh, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to get another one. Let me tell you something. You ask spirit, you get it. An experience I had as a single mother, I had a job that was extremely stressful and low paid. And I turned to spirit and I said, Spirit, find me a job that I can enjoy more, that I can work less and make more money. And guess what happened? I know this sounds weird, right? To ask for something like that. But you ask, you shall receive. I received a job making a lot more money, working less,
Mm-hmm.
and I enjoyed it for quite a few years.
Well, you know what? Not to cut you off, but I also want to bring that around because Debbie, that happened in your house. Debbie's daughter. Well, I guess you could tell the story better
You
because
you
I
can
have
tell
just
it.
been a fan of Paula, her daughter. She went back to school, got her master's, was teaching with art with children. Then, when the pandemic hit, she started posting pictures of herself creating artwork. And the artwork has now evolved. She has had how many showings?
She's
How
had
many articles that are
three or
written about her?
3 or 4 shows, a TV interview, 2 articles, and she's about to do a show in New York next weekend. Well, 2 of her pieces or 3 of her pieces will be in a show. So
Next weekend?
yeah, yeah. I don't know where, but somewhere in New York.
You see me raising my brow because I'm not going to be here Saturday. That means I have to make sure I come back on time. What is this? But we can talk
I'll
about
tell
that
you.
later.
But anyway, she wasn't. She always had talent as an artist, but she was discouraged by a high school teacher about pursuing art.
There you
So she
go.
just forgot about it. She put it on the shelf, and then during the pandemic, we were all sitting in here feeling miserable. So she started doing art, and she started doing it with her little daughter. My granddaughter is 7 now. She started doing it with her, and then stuff started appearing on the walls, and that's how it evolved. I mean, it just went from one phase to the next phase, and now she's selling her art. I mean,
That's
Yeah,
amazing.
beautiful. Great.
it's
And
really,
you can just see the pieces evolve and you can feel whatever it is that she was going through, you can feel it in the pieces. Even some of the pieces I have seen and said, wait a minute, how come nobody realizes that this is her aunt? This is her aunt's face, or this is her daughter's face. And she said, really? I'm like, yeah, don't you see? Don't you see it? But think about it. Young people are frequently discouraged because
Yes.
whoever is discouraging them is they're doing it from a point of their hurt, their pain.
Mm-hmm.
They are not looking to give this young person, go ahead, do it, because they can't see beyond that. And there are so many people in so many lives or in so many positions, such as teachers. They don't know that one phrase can either get that person going for the rest of their lives or stop them
Right.
dead in their tracks.
Right.
Exactly.
Because really, I should have been a writer. And yes, my teachers did encourage me, but no one, and again, we're not criticizing, we're not blaming, but in my family, no one had ever seen anyone make money by writing. People went to offices, they toiled for 8 hours, they came home, they cursed about it, and they went back and did it again.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So now at 68, my idea, because I'm still in the workforce, I'll be honest, my idea about work has been heavily influenced by the two millennials who I live with, who their idea is like, well, wait a minute, use all your vacation time. And I would just pile it up just in case something happened. And then the something did happen.
Yeah.
My husband passed. Did I use all my vacation time? No. No, I didn't. Still, that same mindset. And once I got beyond that, I was like, well, wait a minute, hold up. I have 2 extra weeks. Use it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I
So
agree.
that's getting,
I agree. And that's a generational thing because, our family, our parents worked really hard. They were happy to have a solid job. The whole thing was work ethic. Show your family how you get up every morning to support them. Show them how you work your hands to the bones to support them and to pay bills and to pay your taxes. It was all about that, even though it was just a treadmill. They didn't really seem to have a choice, in my opinion, about what to do or what avenue to pursue. The whole ethic was work, go to school and work hard. That's it. That's the American dream.
well, the American dream is not serving 99% of the people.
I
We were
agree.
not put here, and we know this, we were not put here to work ourselves to the bone. We
Right.
were not. Because that's one thing I would tell younger women. Not so much don't work yourself to the bone, but if you want to take a trip, take the damn trip.
Take the trip. If you want
Take
to
the trip.
right, if you want to change your career, change it.
Do it.
Do something
it.
that makes you feel joy.
Right.
Right.
If somebody was saying, oh, I went for an interview, this job paid more than this job, and which one did you like the best? The one that paid less. Go for that one. You're going to stay there longer. And
That
you're going
happened
to
to me.
enjoy.
That happened to me. I agree with you. I was a city planner and I was in banking and I was in all this stuff. And then I wasn't particularly happy with my jobs, but then I had my daughter and I kept working as much as it killed me to have to leave her at 3 months to go back to work. And then I got pregnant with twin boys and they were born 3 months early. And when they got through all of their really precarious health stuff, we moved overseas and then came back when they were school age and they couldn't fit into the schools. The schools were not accommodating them. They were having a lot of behavioral problems and learning problems. So I had to find a whole new school for them because they were diagnosed with learning disabilities and ADHD at age 5 or 6, right? So that was a roller coaster. But my main point is that I found this school and got immersed in the field myself. I was so busy trying to figure out what was going on with my kids because nobody could really give me a straight answer at the school. So I'm reading all these books and I found out about this field, learning disabilities. Fortunately, they got into the school. And about 2 days or 3 days after school started, I got a flyer from the school saying, we're recruiting tutors for our school. We'll train you and give you a certificate and you can tutor wherever you want. So I said, yes. So I got to tutor kids. I got to do a practicum in the classroom at the school so I could really learn to do it right. And that became my career for the next, 15 years after that. And I loved it. I did that till I retired. I worked with kids with learning disabilities. So, and it didn't pay a lot, but boy, it was very rewarding. It was actually part of my being. It wasn't like, this is my job. It's like, okay, this is my home life, but it's an extension of my home life because my kids were at the same school and I was dealing with other people's kids that had similar issues, you see. So anyway, I didn't mean to go on and on and on, but you're right. Find something that you're passionate about. Don't spend, your whole life on a treadmill. Because if you fall off that treadmill and die, they ain't gonna blink an eye. They're just gonna replace you
Nope.
with another body. And as much as they say, we really like you, we miss you. Oh, so sad you're leaving. Bullshit. They'll just
Exactly.
Yeah.
Doreen, I saw you ready to come
I
in.
like to add two things I like to say to young people. We need your ingenuity.
yeah.
We need your creativeness. We need your entrepreneur spirit.
Here you go.
You do not have to do it the way that, how can I say, I was told in my generation it had to be done this way.
Right.
This is the way it has to be done.
Mm-hmm.
I would say with young people today, they see it differently. They don't see that it has to be done the way that the old timers have said.
Mm-hmm.
And I would say to young people, we need your ingenuity, we need your creativeness, and we need your entrepreneur spirit.
Yes.
And I would say to young people, yes, the baton should be passed to you.
Absolutely.
There are some people, some old timers, who do not understand that in life, the baton gets passed to the youth.
Mm-hmm.
It gets passed to the youth. And we need the youth to understand that this is the way it's supposed to be. It's not supposed to be for the old timers to hold on to the baton to the end of time. No. Because I think the youth, they want to be heard. They want their voices to be heard. And you find that, with these young people, I don't know what it is, but in the past couple of months, I've been meeting entrepreneurs left and right. I guess maybe with COVID, these young people said, I'm not doing that thing the way the old timers did. They
Right.
and started their own companies.
Yeah.
Doing their own business. And
Right.
I just met another entrepreneur this weekend. Young lady. I went to her shop. She told me she's only been open for 4 months. I'm like, oh, I was so impressed. Denise knows I work with two people, they're young people, they're trainers. And they just started their own training fitness studio.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the only thing I would say to young people. Yes, we were taught in my generation, this is the way, the book was already written for you, how it was supposed to go.
Right.
Yeah.
It was like, this is the book. This is the book. This is how you're supposed to go. You're supposed to finish high school,
Right.
go to college, get the job, get a good job with benefits, stay there for 30 years. Okay, wait, remember that? 30 years,
And get your retirement.
It's retirement.
That's right. That's the book was written. Get married, have the book. I applaud these young people today who say that was the book of the past. They're doing it their way.
Yep.
Right.
And I say it's time to pass the baton in many areas to the young people. We need their ingenuity. We need their new ideas. We need their creativeness. And and like I said, Debbie, congratulations to your daughter. These young people amaze me, and I support them 100%. As far as what they how they want to do things their way. They don't have to accept the book of the old time. That's my message.
No, they shouldn't. I hope they don't, because that's like horrible. It's depressing.
It is. It is.
It's so depressing to me. To be caught in that. No, to be doing that for like 30 or 40 years. Oh no. But that kills your spirit.
That was the thing. Everybody was told to, go into a job, stay there, get a pension, right, Denise?
Right.
30 years.
Yeah.
That was the thing.
Right.
And those of us who did not do that were looked at as weirdos, whereas now we have a generation that's saying, no, that should not be the way.
Right.
And they are getting pushed back from the establishment, which is what boomers call it, but they are getting pushed back because they're being told things like, well, you must be in the office. That's a bunch of baloney. Well, we know what's behind that.
And who's
Real
gonna win this
estate.
war? Who's gonna win that war, Denise?
Exactly. We know
The young
that
people.
they are going to win it, because what are they saying? They're not saying we're going to come back and be miserable, which would have been a boomer thing to say. They said we're not coming back. Period. So now the narrative is no one wants to work. No one wants to work in your office for what you're paying. They would rather take their talents, be creative, go out and do other things that they think will carry them through however many more years, and maybe they'll do something else, or maybe something that's going to benefit the world. How about that?
Yeah, right. I mean, and I'm trying to hold on to my last shred of optimism as far as this country is concerned, because I'm looking to them to get us out of help get us out of this mess.
Yes.
I
They
mean,
are. It's the young people that are going to, how do you say it? They're going to create a revolution
I sure hope so, because you
Yes.
know,
in the whole entire world. They're tired of it.
Mm-hmm.
And thank God, they are more and more young people are following their intuition. They're meditating, which is very important to connect yourself to the guidance that comes from you instead of the guidance that comes from other people.
right,
Because, you know, we give guidance based on our experiences,
Mm-hmm.
right? And our wounds. The person who follows our guidance, and I'm talking about myself too, the person who follows our guidance and not following their own guidance, they're going to have to live with their decisions for the rest of their lives, not us.
right.
Right.
Right. So the person who told me, you shouldn't go to college to become a psychologist because you're not good at math.
Oh
If I
gosh,
had
I
had,
to do anything.
if I had had, you know, the
What?
encouragement that I needed at the time, I probably would have followed that. But I'm going beyond that and saying, get stronger in your own intuition so you don't need to be influenced, or you're not influenced by anyone else but yourself. Following your truth, becoming
Yeah.
your true and authentic self.
Right,
Because there's nothing more powerful than us being our true and authentic selves.
very true.
Because
That's
nothing
true.
can influence us.
And I think this generations, the one after boomers, they are keying in and touching into that authentic self earlier.
Yes,
Most
absolutely.
boomers, particularly women, I see it happening in their 50s, because that's when it happened to me. It was like that tap on the shoulder.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, what's next? You know, this is Mother Nature talking. I am not joking. This is the time to find what it is that's going to bring you joy.
Yes.
Right.
Whereas I see it when I talk to my nieces who are younger, I see it happening to them in their early 40s, late 30s,
Yes,
that they
30s.
actually hear it. And I am so excited, because that means they have a longer period of time to enjoy this.
Exactly. And now you're seeing it in kids.
You see it
Little
Yes,
again.
children coming in
yes,
that I've been
Yeah.
honored in meeting. These little kids, like 7, 8, 10 years old, so special and with
yep.
a
Mhm.
mind of their own, with an incredible discernment and centered and grounded and
Now that's how my
knowing
granddaughter is.
exactly what they
That's,
want.
Oh,
yes,
yes. Sophia
that's how
came
my,
here knowing.
There
But
you
then
go.
again, we all did. We ended up, we unlearned, but we all came here knowing, if you think about it, in meditation, you can go back to a time when, as a young person, you knew there was just some things you just knew.
Oh, absolutely.
But
Yeah.
somehow or another, we unlearn because we have to fit into society in these little boxes,
Right.
and we unlearn it.
Yeah.
But these young people,
Attention.
particularly those born during the pandemic, I don't know, they came here age 30.
No, they really did.
Mhm.
Yeah, no, they came here knowing. You even see pictures of them at birth. They look like they have this knowledge. And it's like, wow,
They do.
can we debate now? Yes. Yes. I I am so excited about this conversation.
Me
You
too.
I
are?
am. This conversation, yeah, of course I am.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
Very
what
good.
else
Aren't
can
you?
we tell? But what
Absolutely.
else can we tell young women though? What can we tell women? I mean, I have
Okay,
so
I'm going to
many
have each
things.
person because you know what? We are going to come back again. No, I have to have
Okay.
you three back again, but each person tells a young person one jewel.
Let your conscience be your guide.
Ooh.
Okay, who's gonna be next?
One of the other two.
Okay.
Doreen, you can be next if you're ready.
I would say, I would just say for a young person, if you're not moving, actively moving every day, actively moving, whether it's walking or riding your bike or kayaking,
Yeah.
put the phone down.
Yes.
Put the phone down and go outside and move.
Absolutely.
Move.
Right.
Absolutely.
And I
I
just have
love that.
I agree. I agree. And I have a mildly inappropriate thing to say.
Go
Like,
ahead.
please don't chase the peen. Don't chase the peen. There's a lot of peen out there, and the peen will find you. The problem is that a lot of the times it won't be as enjoyable as you think it is. Most of the time, it won't be enjoyable. So be very, very selective. You know, settle for quality rather than quantity so that you won't be disappointed because half the time you look up and say, why did I do that? I don't even like this guy. Why did I do that? He's not a nice person, or he doesn't
Mhm.
make me happy at all. I don't feel happy with him. So, or her, I'm not trying to be, homophobic or anything like that. That's not about, it's
Yeah.
just whoever your partner is, when you're looking for a partner, don't be so desperate and go out there and settle for whoever comes by because eventually you will find somebody that you enjoy being with, who treats you well and who you can actually enjoy the peeing with, and that's it. I mean, don't get distracted by it.
Don't chase the pig. Okay.
Well, no, I mean, if we have hormones and I don't
No.
have very many left, so it's easy for me to say because when I was in my 20s, I was chasing it. Okay, I was there, but in retrospect, I wasted a lot of time on a lot of meaningless relationships with people who were not worthwhile. I'm sorry, and then you feel like ugh afterwards. So
We all have.
it all
Yes.
goes back to just valuing yourself. Value your time and yourself and your body and your mind,
Mhm.
Anna, you would look like you were raising your hand. Are you?
Yeah, I want to add something to that that is very important is when we have a connection with someone that is not the best connection for ourselves, we need to remember that when we connect with someone, we absorb some of their energy
Oh Lord, I'm in trouble.
and it stays with
Me.
us.
Me too.
Yeah. And that makes it harder. And the more people we connect with, the less we know ourselves. So the less we are in touch with ourselves. We lose the self connection.
Right.
So,
Wow.
but then we work hard later on in gaining that back and we're fine. However, if I could give some advice would be that be very, very, very selective because you're absorbing the wounds and the issues of
Mm-hmm.
somebody else. And like yours are not enough.
Right. And I'm gonna
I
forgive. I'm
absolutely
gonna
agree.
forgive us a little bit because it was that was the 70s and the 60s and 70s. Anything went in those days.
Oh yeah,
So,
there's no need for
Oh yeah.
forgiveness. Yeah, there's no, yeah, it's just experiencing and knowing what that
yes,
does. Yeah,
yes.
no judgment.
No
None what
judgment at all. No judgment
mm-mm.
at all because people
No.
were certainly judging us when we were young. I know that. So
Oh yeah.
I'm not gonna do that really.
Yeah.
And the only difference is now the Polaroids, they have dissolved. No, there's no pictures that are left. You can't see them no more. Thank God. That's all I'm gonna say is thank God that there's about 10 Polaroids that are just no picture
Right.
because
See, we're lucky.
We're
We're
lucky
lucky
because
no, we
because
are.
when
they
we say
have
when we say we
everything is
were
on the internet.
I'm sorry. But when we
Sorry.
say we were players now, everybody has to take our word for it because there's no evidence.
No, thank you very much. Because
You know that there's
Yeah,
a rap
we didn't
song
have no
now.
cloud in the day.
No,
no,
there's a
we
hip
don't
hop
We didn't
song
get
now.
saved in the cloud.
No,
Right?
no, there's nothing in the
We
cloud
get
for me,
backed up
honey.
and saved in the cloud.
There's nothing on it. No, not in that
I'm
regard.
telling you,
Uh-uh.
I might thank Kodak today. I might send them a little email. Thank you very much for that little
But
crappy product that you made in the 70s.
have you heard the new hip hop song about that?
No.
The line is cause girls is players too.
Oh yes, I love
God.
that. I love that song. Cannot play it in my spin class, but I work out to that. I do. What would I tell someone young? I would specifically tell young women, and I know I said it before, take the damn trip. If nobody will go with you, still get your passport, take the trip, begin to travel on your own. If
Yep.
you think that you want to see whatever place it is,
Yes.
go and see it then. Do not postpone it. Don't wait for friends to go. Don't wait for yourself to be married. Don't wait for the kids to grow. Go.
I agree.
Go
I agree.
and have these experiences now. I'm not saying that you can't have them later, but why wait? You might find a different place to live. You might find a different being. You might meet people that you would have never met had you
Yep.
stayed in this place
Yes.
without that little blue passport. Get that passport, take the trip, travel, and make sure, make the time, make the money to do it. You can do this. And I'm
Yes.
telling you, it's going to change your life forever because if traveling can change my life at 60, and I did travel when I was younger, solo, but if at 68, I can take a trip and say that Iceland has changed my life going forward, just imagine what it'll do to you
Right.
in your
Yes.
30s, in your
Yes.
20s. Take the damn trip.
I agree, Denise. And the other thing is, you will learn if you do that, that this is not the center of the universe. That's the
It
thing.
damn sure isn't.
For
Exactly.
Americans in particular, we think this is the center of the. It is not. There's a whole lot of other stuff going on all around the world where they
And
think
amazing.
they think they're the center of the universe. So go try that for a while. You know,
Right.
there are
And what we're
options.
being told about these other places is not what the other place really looks like or is.
Right.
We could definitely talk about that again.
Yep.
Mhm.
But I want to thank everyone for their time, for your words.
Thank you.
So
Thank you.
much.
And thank you, everyone, ladies, Debbie and Anna. I mean, the
Thank you.
guidance was not, let me say, it wasn't just for young people. I really benefited from this guidance today.
Me
And
too.
I
Denise,
took notes.
I benefit from all the guidance that you ladies have given today. So thank you so much. I was
Thank
honored to be
you.
part of this.
Yes, me too. Me too. Can I say one more thing that I'm dying to say?
Yeah.
Time. Okay, time does not come back.
Sure doesn't.
All wasted time will not come back. To remember that. Do not wait for tomorrow.
Yeah.
If we waste time today, this time will never be recovered.
That's true.
That is so.
Thank you, Anna.
That's so present with me now. Now.
And that's my mother used to tell me that too. She'd say, live for today because tomorrow is not promised you. That's what she would say.
Mm.
And I thought then, boy, that's pretty morbid, Ma. God, thanks.
Thank you.
But she was right. Just like she said the same thing that you said.
Yeah. You feel
I
it.
think that's a good note for us to end on.
Well,
Again,
I'm sad
thank you
though
so
because
much.
I've gotten to know these two wonderful people, and now I'm not going to see them.
Oh no. You guys are gonna be connecting. No. This much I
Thank you,
do know.
Denise, for doing this. This was a great
You are
idea,
so
Denise.
welcome. And
Amazing.
I just want to thank anyone who is listening. Thank you so much for listening to the first podcast of Sharing the Wisdom. I'll be back in October 22nd. And who knows who will be on then? There will be 3 other people on. But thank you so much, guests. Everyone have a great rest of the day.
Thank you.
You too.
Bye.
Bye. So nice
Bye.
being with you.
Nice